All right, so we are headed out west once again to a town that is not small by any measure. I mean, it's got like 100,000 people in it, but far too few Texans have tripped this way, I've realized. So we're gonna come here, we're gonna do everything from explore Wild West history, both from the male and female perspective. I got my mountain bike back there, and we're gonna be eating some funky foods that'll blow your mind. And I know this town's name is 2 words on paper, but not to the locals. San Angelo! Oh, yeah. Woohoo! This episode was made for y'all with the help of our awesome partners. Check the caption for more info. San Angelo sits near the doorway of West Texas, and as I-20 passes to the north and I-10 to the south, San Angelo is content to sit right in the middle, attracting only folks who visit on purpose. So here we are, San Angelo, or as the locals like to say, it's only one word, San Angelo. Or if you're really local, it's SNAN-gelo, or just Angelo. There's a lot of different ways. Cowboys, boots, history hanging on every corner amidst buildings of dusty red bricks. It's really no surprise that San Angelo is still the wool and mohair capital of the world, which explains all the sheep just hanging around. I don't know where it happens, but somewhere when you're coming out west, the towns change. They're no longer just Texas towns. I mean, they're part of something bigger. They're part of the West. Like this John Wayne sort of character, you know what I mean? But what is surprising is the artistic side of town, especially along the Concho River, where art and nature collide.
We're glad you're here. We hope you'll stay. If not forever, then just enjoy the day. Oh yeah, we're gonna do just that.
Since it's early yet, we will now enjoy ourselves at breakfast. A trip within a trip to a magical utopia of donuts. A land of fried circles of deliciousness in every shape and color. Donuts topped with cereal. Donuts topped with whipped cream. Donuts topped with bacon. Donuts giving bear hugs to bacon cheeseburgers. And they call this land Donutopia. And ruling are its humble king and queen, Mike and Mania. Breakfast of champions here.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
That looks like a bowl of cereal and a donut combined.
That's right.
Yeah.
We do cereal, we do Oreo. We actually have a breakfast donut sandwich, donut burger.
Donut burgers.
Yes, sir. It's all good stuff.
I love it. You're mixing the sweet and the savory together.
Yeah, PB&J on any donut you want, but
Okay.
I recommend the cinnamon roll. I have to warn you, if you do the PB&J cinnamon roll, you won't go back to a regular PB&J.
It'll spoil you forever.
Yeah.
Mike's family has been making the donuts for 30 years. And it just so happens that it's his family that inspires this craziness. His wife's specialty is actually the Cambodian and East Asian food. As if you weren't already confused about this place.
Actually, the only place that you can have noodles and donuts. So,
Luckily, those are 2 separate things. But whatever crazy combinations they throw together, trust me, it works. Thinking I'm gonna need like a breakfast sandwich on a donut for the main course and then a dessert PB&J cinnamon roll. Can you eat dessert when you're having donuts?
You can do that.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, day tripping was never about dieting. Sausage, cheese, egg on a donut. Bam. That's insane. He's right, dude. I think I'm ruined from any other PB&J for the rest of my life. I don't think I've seen creativity like this in donuts anywhere in Texas, and I definitely did not expect it here in San Angelo. San Angelo may be a donutian utopia now, but it took a long time to get here. For our next stop, let's step back in time to the beginnings of this city, which is the story of Fort Concho, a frontier fort dating back to the 1860s and still standing about 150 years later.
This is one of the best preserved frontier forts west of the Mississippi. 42 acres, 26 buildings, and a lot of fun, and we're darn proud of it.
I can see why. It doesn't take much to imagine that this is what it was like 150 years ago.
Even with the wind.
This is site manager Bob Bluthart. But to give this fort a little context, a brief history lesson is in order. You see, when Texas joined the United States in 1845, most of its land was uninhabitable because it was too dangerous. Marauding tribes made settling the West a bloody affair, but the U.S. needed towns. And so to pave the way for settlement, the U.S. built a line of forts in Texas extending from the Red River to the Rio Grande. By the 1850s, that line had advanced even farther as the U.S. sought to protect the towns and trade routes of its citizens. And in the 1860s, the U.S. established Fort Concho along the banks of the Concho River. But what was once the middle of nowhere is now the middle of a bustling city, and tourists now occupy buildings that were once inhabited by soldiers living on the frontier, awaiting their taste of the action.
This was Army life from the Civil War era right up until the early 1900s. And it was a 5-year enlistment, 3 meals a day, couple of uniforms, and all the adventure you can handle. And there wasn't much of it.
Oh man, but it sounds like it'd be an adventurous gig, right?
Sounds nice, but
Yeah.
in reality, most people joined the Army back then because they had no other option. You get $13 a month. It was one of the better paying jobs in this country, and for the black soldiers, called the Buffalo Soldiers, who were stationed here, it was one of the only good gigs that they could get in that time period.
In post-Civil War America, life out here was hard. Soldiers had to take care of their own, and that meant doing everything from war patrol to potty patrol.
Well, this is the post hospital, which is the largest building on the site, and I think that tells a story unto itself.
Yeah.
This was the healthcare system back in the 1870s, and this was the only hospital of its kind for thousands of square miles.
Wow. Your nurse to your brain surgeon all combined into
This
one
is
person,
the whole
right?
thing. If you had a sniffle or you had to lose a leg, this was where it was done.
Each building here tells a different story about life at a frontier fort, which doesn't look as bad if you're sitting in the officer's chair.
I want to be on this side of the parade grounds.
The money was better, the food was better, and the housing was better.
Yeah.
Hasn't changed in 200 years.
Officers could ship almost anything out here that could fit in a wagon, including their wives, kids, and high society etiquette.
Even though they were 200 miles from the nearest railhead, they tried to stay up to date and just classy.
Yeah,
and
ladies at the top.
this is not the barracks. This
right.
is not the mess halls. This is fairly high Victorian frontier style.
It's amazing that so many of these buildings are still standing or have been almost perfectly rebuilt to match the era. And even though you are right in the middle of the city, the feeling is purely frontier. That at any moment the bugle may sound, the horses may ready, and it's time to ride the range. With the safety the fort provided and the presence of water, the Concho River Valley was prime for settlement, which is when San Angelo popped up from the prairie. And it was a Wild West town if there ever was one.
All right, so this is Concho Avenue. It's kind of like the first main street through town. And they tell me the whole street used to be dirt, and these sidewalks were just boards and planks. Man, some of these buildings are actually from that era, which is nuts. And I see that like 2 of them are named Miss Hatties. You know, I've got a local who's gonna give us a little insight into that. Let's go meet him for lunch.
We're headed to Miss Hattie's restaurant, a classy yet casual sort of place with excellent food. It's actually been named one of Texas Monthly's best burgers in Texas, but as you can see, the vibe is definitely not Burger Dive. And if you're noticing the abundance of women's undergarments, well, that has everything to do with Miss Hattie. Brenda Gunter is the current owner of this place, and she, along with Mark Priest, both work hard to keep the legend of Miss Hattie alive and well.
Mrs. H.A. Hatton. She was a young girl when she moved here to San Angelo, and times were tough then, because you were either the daughter of somebody or you were the wife of somebody. And she was divorced at a young age, 19, 20, 21, 22, so that was scandalous almost into itself. Yeah, right. She went into a business that is guaranteed to make money, a bordello.
Well, there it is. Miss Hattie was a madam, the proprietor of her own house of ill repute. And while we don't often talk about it much, it was very common in the cowboy days of Texas.
The women followed the men as the West was settled. With one came the other.
Back in the day, this building was a bank, and legend holds that a secret tunnel connected to the bordello. Today, one must simply walk a few doors down to Miss Hattie's Bordello Museum.
Welcome to the most famous bordello west of the Colorado River, Miss Hattie's.
My goodness.
It's like stepping back in time 100 years, isn't it?
You're not lying.
So we've tried to give the feel of as if the girls had just walked out.
It feels that way.
Yeah.
Not that I've ever been into a Western bordello, though. Not the kind of place a respectable gentleman might have walked into, or a respectable lady, right?
Well, I think we found over time that a lot of those respectable gentlemen did come and go. They just didn't necessarily arrive through the front door.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm strangely fascinated, yet feel a bit dirty. It's almost too real with the dim lighting and the hallway full of bedrooms. I mean, most of the furniture is actually original, as Miss Hattie and the girls left it behind in 1950 when this place was finally shut down by the Texas Rangers.
I always found that rather interesting because not the local sheriff's department and not the local police department, but it takes the Texas Rangers to come in and close it down. That way, I guess the politics of it are outside the city.
Well, yeah, and they didn't want to shut down maybe their favorite place in town.
Could be.
Now, it's hard to imagine the day, but in the early 1900s, prostitution was not illegal in Texas. And strange as it sounds, Miss Hattie actually tried to keep her girls respectable.
All the girls went to church on Sunday, albeit a different church every Sunday. Most of the time, the girls were fed here.
Okay.
There is a little kitchen, but the girls weren't known for their cooking.
You put things so eloquently.
While the guys could be entertained, per Miss Hattie's rule, girls were not allowed to drink at all. Technically, during Prohibition, nobody could drink. But Miss Hattie found a way to cater to her customers' needs.
Just about the size of a bottle of whiskey, isn't it? You could stack bottles right there very easily.
Very
We found 2 here in the building.
Now, besides furniture, Mark has been collecting stories, some first-hand accounts from former customers, which has allowed him to paint a picture of who these girls actually were. Whether we like to talk about it or not, this is a part of Texas history that dates all the way back to Spanish rule and stretched from Galveston to Amarillo. But that doesn't make being here any less weird. I mean, you can almost see the girls in these rooms. Whoa, that's crazy. But it kind of looked like Kelly. No, thank you. Nope. Did that girl have a beard? What? Wild West girls look a little different than I imagined. Yep, I'm done here. Now, if you're trying to win over a woman's heart and not simply pay for her affections, well, that's Mark's primary business, right below the museum.
Okay, so you own a bordello museum and a jewelry shop.
Yeah. Hey, if the world's oldest profession is upstairs, we just figured the world's second oldest profession would be downstairs.
This is Legends Jewelers. It has all the diamonds, gold, and sparkly things your money can buy. But I'm here for something much more rare, and they're called Concho pearls.
These pearls are pink and purple and lavender and are natural pearls, natural color, natural origin, out of freshwater mussel shells.
And we're talking these things come out of the Concho River.
That's right.
That, brown, greenish, kind of muddy bottom.
Yeah, it's ironic, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that seems to be a contributing factor to why we find the colors that we do. In fact, it seems like the harsher the water and the more tough the environment is, some of the colors are even more intense.
Wow.
The history on these pearls dates back thousands of years when they were used by native Indians for trading and adornment. They are only found in this small part of Texas, making them really rare and really unique, as each one forms in its own way.
We may use the mold out of our shop to make the piece, but it always has to be changed and altered for each individual pearl. And the pieces of jewelry that you see right here, we're real conscious of having a balance. Pearls don't sparkle like a diamond, so you got to be more careful in making sure the mounting doesn't overpower the pearl.
Yeah. Don't upstage the pearl. It's like saucing brisket, No, you don't need to sauce the brisket. Let the brisket stand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just like sauce.
You see how a guy relates to jewelry? It's just like sauce and brisket.
But trust me, these are way more rare in Texas than brisket, and even harder to find. And if you have a license to pearl dive, you could walk away very rich.
So these are 2 of the largest pearls that were found. So in today's marketplace, I would say probably $200,000 to $250,000 for that pearl right there.
Holy
and easily $175 to $200 on this pearl right here.
Wow.
And none of us equate those kind of values with pearls, right?
No.
Big diamonds, no problem. Big ruby sapphires, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But pearls are far, far more rare than those other gems.
Can I hold it?
Here you go.
I'll hold the value of a house right here in my hand.
There's just
2 houses. There's in my hand.
Few blemishes, here and there. But that's enough to let us know it's natural.
So obviously you haven't set these or anything because you're waiting for the right buyer to come along and pick whatever they want.
They're not even for sale right now. Here's the thing. By us having these 2 pearls in the case right here, everybody gets to come by and visit it. I've always said that if I had this mounted in a piece of jewelry, I got to go to a lady's house to go see it.
That's right. These are not for sale, unfortunately, because I had the cash to buy it right now. But if it's not for sale, I guess I'll give it back.
I want to talk about my rate.
Yeah.
If you're buying that,
I mean, you know.
right?
Luckily, Mark has a number of pearls that are a bit more in most folks' price range, even less than $100. This has been an educational sort of day.
We now interrupt this programming to remind you to like and subscribe. Now back to the road.
But you know I like to balance time indoors with time outdoors. And San Angelo is a great place to do that. Officially, this town has 3 different lakes, but I'm headed to its one state park.
And what I love so much about our state parks is that each one kind of has its own thing, you know? Some are about rivers, some are about mountains. Out here, it's all about trails. So now I think it's time to explore the wild frontier ourselves, only instead of stagecoaches and horses, we're gonna be taking a mountain bike.
This is certainly one of the more underappreciated parks in Texas, but it should be near the top of every mountain biker's list. This is the gateway to over 50 miles of trails through some wide open, truly unforgiving land.
So this is the Burkett Trailhead. It's a good place to get down and dirty real quick in San Angelo State Park. All I gotta do is go suit up now. I'll be right back.
The trails are marked by dust, dirt, and cactus, making this entire park just feel so Texan. And it's fun to pretend I'm galloping the trails on a steel horse of speed. Well, really, it's like an aluminum horse at a nice, safe pace, because this ain't the place you want to fall down.
I'm a little ways down the trail, kind of in this mesquite grove. I mean, like, everything here either pokes, sticks, or stings. Ow! This... Yeah, that bush just scraped off a few layers of skin. I feel like I'm in hog country or something. Like at any moment, I'm gonna see a big pack of hogs pass by and I'm gonna be stuck in the hog scene from Old Yeller. I just saw something move. You know, it's much safer being on the bike.
But even if you stay on the bike, well, that doesn't mean you're totally safe, as you still gotta stay on the trail.
Okay, technical difficulty. At this point, I'm not sure if I'm following bike trails or cow trails. There's definitely a lot of cow patties out here, and I'm not seeing a lot of tire marks. But using my Boy Scout senses, I know that the crew is on top of that point. So if I orientate myself that way, maybe I'll make it home? I don't really know.
Wait, a friendly local to guide the way. These trails feel much better.
You know, when you're mountain biking, you have a tendency to just keep your eyes right down on the trail the whole time, and you really need to be looking up and out. So it's good to just stop, take a little moment, breathe it all in. I wish you could smell this West Texas air.
You know, there's something fun about being one of the only people on the trails, and part of me wouldn't mind if the park stayed underutilized. But then again, some things are just too good not to share.
Ah! Dude, that is one of the baddest mountain bike trails I've ever ridden. And I do mean Michael Jackson bad. I got some scrapes on my hands and stuff. I'm telling you, at any moment, if you fell on the trail, you were going to the emergency room. I don't know how many Boy Scout rules I broke, because I did not bring water, I did not bring a buddy, and I did not bring a phone. So
Can they rescind your Eagle Scout ranking because of that?
I don't know. As long as you guys don't report it to the Eagle Board, I think I'm okay.
Are you hungry?
I'm starving.
Let's go get some
I'm
food.
starving. Let's go get some food. First water.
So we've talked about the Concho River, Fort Concho, Concho Avenue, and Concho Pearls, but now it's time to explore the tastiest Concho of all of them, the Concho Pearl Ice House.
Man, I gotta say, I dig this. It's really a very cool, hip, fresh vibe in this old building, in the middle of this old part of town. I mean, look at all the craft beer, the mixology stuff, live music. I mean, that's stuff you find in the heart of a lot of big cities. A little microcosm of Austin or Dallas or Houston, but right here in San Angelo.
And just like those rare little orbs of purple grow in unexpected waters, well, this hip restaurant unexpectedly pops up in an old service station, proving Angelo is just as cool as your city, maybe even cooler. At least owners Ashley and John Turner think so.
But we wanted something that was family friendly, that had that hill country Austin vibe to it, where you get outside and enjoy things with, you know, the craft beer for adults, the playscape for kids, the live music. Nobody is, you know, outcast on this. We're all included and a part.
As the dad to 4 of my own munchkins, yeah, I could hang out here all day, especially when the food's this good.
Texas eclectic is kind of my thing.
Yeah.
Because that's our backbone. So we're doing everything fresh and from scratch here in this building. We do pickles in-house. We have a custom grind on our hamburgers. All the briskets smoked in pecan wood.
Yeah.
A little different than a lot of folks in Texas.
Sure, yeah, we don't do much pecan in Central
Nope.
Texas at all.
Nope, you don't. It's usually post oak, live oak, something
Yep,
like that.
absolutely.
Yeah,
You do your
no,
barbecue.
I do, sir.
Friends.
I do, sir.
These guys know their stuff. It's mouth-wateringly delicious, yet comfortingly familiar.
We're inching things forward, but they've still got to make sense for San Angelo.
People moving a little slower here.
Well, that's the beauty of it, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
why
yeah.
people live here. That's why you love it here. For that lifestyle, for that hanging out and enjoying life and taking it a little slower.
That's my kind of lifestyle. The kind that makes room for one of their house specialties. Avocados stuffed with brisket and cheese. Battered, deep fried, and served on top of fresh greens.
I love barbecue. I love avocado. I love fried things. Put them all together. Nothing better than that. Man, that's good. There's something magic about putting avocado with smoked brisket. The first time I saw people doing that down in Lockhart, I was a little skeptical, but once you try it, man, you become a believer. Man, that's good.
Now with the sun gone, let me take you back to something that happened earlier. We were at Fort Concho, and I found out that you could stay in the old officers' quarters. So I booked a room, and then met this guy.
Now, you may have a roommate because at Fort Concho, you're never alone.
That was creepy in the daylight, but now with the sun gone, I'm really starting to regret my decision. What did he mean, never alone? I mean, do I have a roommate or something? Anyway, what a day. San Angelo, San Angelo, Angelo. Doesn't matter how you say it, this is one awesome trip. From traveling back in time, to biking the Wild West frontier, to visiting a culinary utopia of donuts and deep fried goodness. There are plenty of reasons to come here, even on purpose. But I really wish that guy at the front desk had given me a little more information about my roommate tonight.
I don't know how this indoor plumbing thing works, but I'm pretty sure I just broke it. You're out of toilet paper. I tried to pick up the spare roll, but ghost hands. I can't do it. Sorry. Just gotta get this hangnail here. Down! Oh, sorry. All these things will fly. Did that get you in the face? Lucius! Lucius, get out there! They're all around you, Lucius! Lucius, you shoot them hogs. If you don't, we're leaving you. We're heading to Missouri. Shoot them in their face.
If only this had just been a day trip. Oh. So I'll see all y'all out on the road. Bye con Dios, amigos.
Oh, I might give it about 15 to 20 minutes before you come in here. Woo, that mess hall food made a mess of my stomach.
Still rolling.
Do you ever have dreams, Chet?
You gotta. Okay, do it again. I'm sorry.
Do you ever have dreams, Chet? I do sometimes. Dream of all the world's knowledge in a little box sitting on my chiffero. And I have these little buttons and I can look it all up just with little click, click, clicks. I dream of just this way that I could share all these moving pictures of cats with everyone. Well, you would have a lot less wars, Chet, if we just had more little pictures of cats. Chet, how are you at back scratches? Just a little one, please. Little please. Pretty please.
Howdy, y'all. Follow along with my adventures at Chet Tripper on Instagram and at The Day Tripper TV on Facebook and YouTube. Or head to thedaytripper.com for travel guides, past episodes, and info on our mobile app and Team Day Tripper.
This episode was made for y'all with the help of our awesome partners. Check the caption for more info. Howdy, y'all. Chet the Day Tripper here. Thanks so much for tripping with us. Remember, while you're here, like this video, subscribe to our channel so that we can stay out there on the road and keep on tripping. Did we miss anything in this town? Leave us a comment, let us know. We love finding out about new stops with all of your tips. And if you love Epic Texas Day Trips, remember to check our channel. We got a lot of them on there. Also, don't forget, if you want some sweet Day Tripper merch or another cool Texas-made product, come see us in Georgetown at the Day Tripper World Headquarters. You can also shop online if you check the link down there in the caption. All right, y'all. Bye con Dios, amigos.